A Year in the Life of John Lennon, 1974. 1974 was another pivotal year for John Lennon, full of music, personal struggles and eventual reconciliation. Known as the height of his lost weekend, this year saw Lennon reach new heights as a solo artist while dealing with tumultuous personal relationships. Let's take a month-by-month look at the events that defined John Lennon's life in 1974. January 1974, still in the lost weekend. John Lennon entered 1974 still deep in his infamous lost weekend, a period of wild behaviour, heavy drinking and personal freedom. His relationship with May Pang continued to flourish, while he and Yoko Ono remained separated. John spent much of his time partying with friends and fellow musicians in Los Angeles, but behind the scenes he was also hard at work on his music. February 1974, rock and roll sessions begin. In February, Lennon started recording an album that paid tribute to his musical roots, a collection of rock and roll covers. These sessions, held in Los Angeles, were meant to reconnect John with the music that had inspired him as a young artist. However, the sessions quickly became chaotic, with Lennon's drinking and unpredictable behaviour sometimes derailing the process. March 1974. The infamous lost weekend continues. March was marked by more of Lennon's infamous partying, with Harry Nilsson, Ringo Starr and others joining him during his time in Los Angeles. Stories from this period became legendary, with incidents like Lennon's drunken outbursts and being thrown out of the Troubadour Club for heckling the Smothers Brothers. Despite the chaos, Lennon's music remained central to his life, and his upcoming album began taking shape. April 1974. Moving back to New York. In April, Lennon made the decision to leave Los Angeles and return to New York. He and May Pang moved into an apartment in the heart of the city, where Lennon hoped to find more stability and focus on his work. The move marked a turning point as Lennon's behaviour began to calm down and his creative energy shifted back toward music. May 1974. Recording Walls and Bridges. By May, Lennon was deep into recording what would become Walls and Bridges, an album that reflected his emotional state during the lost weekend. The songs were a mix of personal confessions, love songs, and introspective reflections. Tracks like #9, Dream, and Whatever Gets You Through the Night showcased Lennon's emotional complexity, blending dreamlike sounds with raw emotion. June 1974. Collaborating with Elton John. One of the highlights of June was Lennon's collaboration with Elton John. Elton contributed piano and backing vocals to the song Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which would later become Lennon's first solo #1 hit in the United States. The chemistry between the two artists was undeniable, and Elton's upbeat energy helped bring Lennon out of his creative slump. July 1974. Wrapping up Walls and Bridges. By July, Lennon had completed Walls and Bridges. The album was more polished than his previous efforts, combining rock, pop and soulful elements. It was a reflection of his emotional state, still searching for inner peace, but starting to rebuild his life after the turmoil of the past few years. August 1974. Preparing for the album release. In August, Lennon began gearing up for the release of Walls and Bridges. The promotional campaign featured interviews and appearances, with Lennon speaking candidly about his personal life and musical process. There was a lot of anticipation surrounding the album, especially given the turbulent year that had preceded it. September 26, 1974, Walls and Bridges is released. On September 26, 1974, Walls and Bridges was released. The album was met with both critical and commercial success, with its hit single Whatever Gets You Through the Night topping the charts. The album was seen as a return to form for Lennon, less political, more personal, and emotionally introspective. Fans appreciated the honesty and vulnerability that shone through tracks like #9, Dream, and Scared. October 1974. Lennon promises a live performance. In October, Lennon made a bet with Elton John. If Whatever Gets You Through the Night hit #1, Lennon would join Elton for a live performance. When the single hit the top of the charts, Lennon kept his promise, setting the stage for a special moment in rock history later that year. November the 28th, 1974. John Lennon performs with Elton John at Madison Square Garden. On November 28th, 1974, Lennon took the stage at Madison Square Garden with Elton John. The performance was electric, with Lennon joining Elton to perform Whatever Gets You Through the Night, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and I Saw Her Standing There. Unbeknownst to the audience, this would be Lennon's last major live performance. The night was both a celebration of their friendship and a triumphant return to the stage for Lennon. December 1974. Reconciliation with Yoko Ono. As 1974 came to a close, John Lennon and Yoko Ono reconciled. After more than a year apart, the couple reunited in New York, marking the end of Lennon's lost weekend. The reunion brought a sense of closure to the chaotic period that had defined much of Lennon's year. And by the end of December, Lennon was back with Yoko and focusing on his family. The 1974 was a year of highs and lows for John Lennon, a year where music, friendship and love helped him navigate the chaos of his personal life. As the year ended, Lennon was ready to begin a new chapter, back with Yoko and rediscovering a sense of peace. Subscribe to Rock Masterpieces for more deep dives into the lives of music legends.